This is actually something that's happened to several people that I know, and it was actually brought up in a live stream earlier today. So I thought I'd make this standalone video to talk about how I avoid getting scammed. I do live streams every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, and I answer all the questions that come in. Those live streams usually last an hour or two. The purpose of this live stream is to be much shorter and just cover this one topic. I have a friend who has a short-term rental, and we actually sold it and bought another property. But when he had the short-term rental, he had tenants there who contacted him and said, hey, there's someone at the door. They say they've paid the deposit to rent the place. They've got a tool bag. They said the owner said they're out of the country and they are going to replace the locks and move in. Obviously, they hadn't talked to the actual owners of the property yet. So when you have a rental, one of the things that we do when we have tenant turnover is we screen, we find, we locate new tenants. How do you do that? Some people go to Craigslist, some people go to Facebook Marketplace. For a while, I used cozy.co, which was a Canadian company that was purchased by apartments.com. I actually had better luck with Zillow. And then in the last year, I've switched over to Hemlane. So when I advertise on Hemlane, I put my information in once. One of the reasons I like Hemlane, there's actually a few reasons. The other is because I'm going to be traveling to Thailand. And when I'm out of the country, I can actually step up my level of support through Hemlane if there are months where I have tenant turnover and need somebody to go sign a lease or show the place. But it puts the information out on 30 platforms. Well, there's a lot of scammers out there, and what they do is when they see your rental listing listed, they'll take your images, download them, take a screenshot, however they acquire them, make a fake listing on something like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. The reason that so many landlords get taken by this is because the first time you post a rental on apartments.com or Zillow, you put your information in and you hit post, and then nothing happens for a couple of hours and you get frustrated. So you finally call their customer support and they say, oh yeah, we didn't tell you this, but you need to verify that you're the owner of the property. So they check your name versus whatever their metric is for confirming that you're the actual owner. And then they'll post your listing. So the owners think, I'm protected. I had to verify who I am for this listing to go out. Craigslist doesn't do that. Facebook Marketplace doesn't do that. Whatever other advertising forms people use, certain local websites or in college towns, they don't verify that. So it's never going to be possible to completely stop somebody from scamming other people. You can do what you can to avoid being scammed yourself, but to protect my properties from causing victims, or worse, making me a victim of somebody moving in, paying somebody else, and then having to go through an eviction with me because they weren't actually renting my property. But once they lived there, if I ever had one left open long enough for them to establish residency, I'd have to go through an eviction. Here's what I do, and it's a very simple thing. I do this. I use Canva, CANVA.com. You can use any photo editing platform that you like. So what I'm going to do is share my screen and show you exactly how I just make it more difficult for the scammers to use my information. Like I said, it's going to be almost impossible to stop the scammers, but the more work you make them do, the easier, the less likely they are to use your properties in their scam. And it does seem shocking that somebody would actually believe that somebody said, I'm out of country. Why don't you send me a deposit with Venmo, Apple Pay, or Cash App, or whatever format, ACH. And then you just go change the locks because I'm out of the country, and then you can move in. But people fall for it all the time. So I go to the website. I'm going to look up, make an image here. I'm going to create a design. So basically, this is the size of a YouTube thumbnail. I will put a photo in here. Let me look up one of my pictures of a rental property of mine. So I put the photo in. This is just a picture of one of my rentals. This may or may not be one that I would use in a lease advertisement. I might go at a time of year when the grass wasn't yellow. We'll see. But if I put that up and then I put up several images of here's the kitchen, here's the bathrooms, here's how many bedrooms, here's the parking, here's the whatever you're looking at, it'd be easy for them to just take a copy, put it on their listing, and scam tenants before I have tenants in, or even while I have tenants living there, they might show up thinking they've rented the place. So I'm going to put in text. So I just put in text. The more you use one of these websites, the easier it is to learn how everything works. Why is it fighting me? Change that color to white or to black. Change the wording so that it's easier to see. Put it at an angle. Now, if I did that, it would look kind of silly. But if I click on the words and I change the transparency level, it starts to look like a watermark. So this is the free Canva. If you pay for Canva, there's probably a way to put in actual watermarks there. But if you do this, it's not impossible for somebody to take this picture, make their exact contact information. Words are hard. I blame it on the water that I started drinking early today. You can't drink all day unless you start early, right? Those are the immortal words of Dan Pitchler, by the way. But you made it more work for them. So whatever you're using as your photos, you might want to look at, I want this to be obvious that it's a fence and it's a fenced-in yard. So I might not want to cover anything. It's got newer windows. It has a composite roof. So it's not triple tab. It's not old, right? I can put these words however I want. So it's not really taking away from the aesthetics of the photo. But you made it more work for the scammers to take your image. And you do this on every single one. I wouldn't put in the photo of anything, especially if it has the street numbers anywhere. If they could really, let me see, blow in the picture and see a street number. They would have to know the street and the address. But if you have listed rentals, they have all of that information. They've been to Redfin or Zillow. So wherever you put information with your rentals online, make sure that you have included things that look like watermarks. And you can put the transparency to any level that you want. I hope this helps. This is a nice short live stream talking about how to avoid this common rental scam. If you would like to be here for one of my longer live streams where my content is designed to help the average individual realize that you can reach financial freedom in 10 years or less, make work completely optional, even if you're not starting from the best position, every Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific, I do live streams that last as long as the questions do. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.